Hey everyone, ready to dive in? Today we're tackling something that's probably been on your mind. How to really nail your online presence, especially with everything changing so rapidly online.
Yeah, it feels like every time you turn around, there's a new platform, a new algorithm, a new
So,
something.
yeah, it's overwhelming. But that's why we're here, to break it down with some expert insights. We're taking a deep dive into the work of Sean Anderson. You might know him as Hobo in the SEO world. He's been a leading voice since, get this, 2006.
Wow, 2006. That's like ancient history in internet years. You must have seen it all.
Seriously. He's got some incredible wisdom to share. And by the way, he's even giving away a free SEO checklist, which you'll find a link to in the show notes.
Yes.
So what's Sean's big secret to online success? He calls it topical authority.
Okay, topical authority. I've heard that tossed around. But how does that translate to actually growing my audience online in 2024?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's about becoming the go-to expert in your niche. Sean's been saying this since, believe it or not, 2018. It's not some new fad.
Right. Because trends fade, but expertise, that sticks around. But why is this concept, topical authority, why is it having a moment now in 2024 specifically?
Because Google is changing, and in a big way. Their algorithms are getting smarter, more AI-powered, and they're starting to prioritize websites that demonstrate deep, focused expertise on specific topics.
So it's not enough to just have a website with a little bit of everything anymore.
Exactly. Think about it. If you were looking for advice on, I don't know, let's say restoring vintage watches.
Okay, vintage watches, I'm with you.
Would you rather go to a website that's solely dedicated to that with years of experience and knowledge behind it?
Or one that has a random assortment of articles on everything from watch repair to knitting to astrophysics. Yeah, no, definitely the watch expert.
Right, and Sean is living proof that this strategy works. By focusing his website laser sharp on SEO, he's attracted over 10 million visitors.
10 million, that's huge.
Yeah.
But this isn't just about SEO, is it? It applies to anyone who wants to build a strong online presence, no matter what their passion is.
Absolutely. And as AI reshapes how we find information, becoming that trusted source within your own niche is more important than ever.
It's about building that reputation, that authority that Google and, more importantly, your audience can rely on. So how do we actually do that? How do we build this topical authority? Where do we even begin?
Well, Sean has some really insightful questions that he recommends we ask ourselves. Are you ready for this?
Hit me with them. Let's get practical.
Okay, first up, he asks, is your website content about a topic related to your core business?
That seems pretty straightforward.
Right. But you'd be surprised how many people miss this crucial step.
Yeah, sometimes you need to take a step back and make sure you're building on solid ground.
Exactly. And that brings us to Sean's next question. He asks, are particular pages on your site about subtopics off the main topic? It's like chapters in a book, right? You've got your main theme, but then you break it down into smaller, more digestible chunks.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying don't try to cram everything onto one page.
Right. Give each aspect of your topic room to breathe. And then Sean takes it even deeper. He asks, do the pages explain the subtopic in detail, including concepts within the main subtopic area?
Okay, so this is where we really get into the nitty-gritty, showing off that expertise.
Exactly. Don't just skim the surface. Go deep. Provide those juicy insights and analysis that you won't find anywhere else.
Because anyone can regurgitate basic information, right?
Exactly. And that's what Sean's next question is all about. He asks, does your content explain concepts in a way that demonstrates experience or expertise? You don't necessarily need a fancy degree, but you need to know your stuff.
It's about that credibility, that authority you project through your writing.
Right.
Share your own experiences, your aha moments, the things you've learned through your own deep dive into the topic.
Yes, people crave authenticity. They want to hear from someone who's been there, done that. Okay, get ready for this next question because it's a big one. Sean asks, does the page satisfy user intent better than competing pages?
Ooh, getting competitive.
Right. It's not enough to just put information out there. You have to understand what your audience is searching for, what questions they're asking, and then deliver on that better than anyone else.
So it's like being a detective, almost. You've got to anticipate your audience's needs and then exceed their expectations. I like it.
Right. It's about being helpful, informative, and engaging all at the same time. But Sean doesn't stop there. He knows it's not just about one amazing piece of content. It's about consistency. Which leads us to his next question. Do multiple pages demonstrate expertise or experience in in-depth ways?
So it's not enough to just have one killer blog post. You need to build a whole library of insightful content.
Think of it like building a house. You need a strong foundation, and that means having solid, well-researched content across your entire website.
So it's a long game, not a quick fix. I can get behind that.
Absolutely. Now for Sean's final question, and this one really highlights the power of collaboration. He asks, does this content have independent links from other topic-related authorities and entities?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. It's like getting endorsements from other experts in your field.
Exactly. When other respected voices link to your content, it tells Google that you're a trustworthy source of information. And those backlinks carry a lot of weight. Think of it as online word-of-mouth marketing.
And we all know how powerful that can be.
Yeah.
But hold on, we've covered a lot of ground here. How does this all tie together? How do we actually put these questions into practice?
Well, let's say you're passionate about, I don't know, how about handcrafted bicycles?
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You love everything about them, the craftsmanship, the history, the mechanics, and you want to share that passion with the world through your website.
I'm already hooked.
So Sean's first question reminds us to stay focused on that core passion. Everything on your website should revolve around handcrafted bicycles. Don't throw in a random blog post about, like, baking sourdough bread just because you had a good loaf last week.
Stay on track, stay focused. I got it.
Right. And let's say your website is up and running, you've got some great content flowing, you're starting to gain some traction, but then you hear about this thing called zero-click marketing, and suddenly you're wondering if having a website is even enough anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms, isn't it? What does zero-click even mean in this context?
It basically means people are finding the answers they need directly on platforms like Google, YouTube, even TikTok, without ever clicking through to a website.
So instead of going to a website, you just get the information right there on the platform.
Exactly. And that's where SMO comes in.
SMO.
Social media optimization, making sure your content on those platforms is engaging and stands out.
I guess it's not enough to just have a great website anymore.
Nope. You got to think about eye-catching visuals for Instagram, catchy captions and hashtags for X, even short videos for TikTok and YouTube.
Wow, that is a lot to keep up with.
It can be, but that's where AI comes in.
AI can help with SMO.
Definitely. Sean predicts that AI tools that can help repurpose your content for different platforms are going to become more and more valuable.
So the cost of those tools is probably going to go up.
Probably, but for those who get on board now, it's a game changer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how does Sean use AI in his own work?
Well, get this. He actually used an AI tool called Notebook LM to help him research and structure some of the content from the very article we're discussing today.
Whoa, so meta. He's using AI to write about using AI.
It's very meta, but it really highlights his point that AI is a tool that can enhance our productivity, not replace us.
So AI can help with research and organizing ideas, but it's still our unique voices and perspectives that make the content come alive.
Exactly. It's like AI is the sous chef, but you're still the head chef, bringing your creativity and expertise to the table.
I like that analogy, and when you combine that human touch with a smart AI strategy and optimization for both search engines and social media, that's how you stand out online.
You hit the nail on the head, and it's like Sean says, by actively shaping how AI perceives your content through SEO and SMO, you're not just visible online, you're memorable.
It's about having a voice in the digital world.
Absolutely. So here's a thought. As AI gets better at analyzing information, could it actually help us figure out our own areas of topical authority? Like maybe even uncover hidden passions or niches we hadn't considered before.
Now that is a really interesting thought. It's like having a digital compass that guides us toward our true calling online.
And that just goes to show we're only scratching the surface of what's possible with AI and online content creation.
It's an exciting time to be a creator, that's for sure.
It really is. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of topical authority, AI, and the future of online presence.
This was a great discussion. I feel like I have a much better understanding of how to navigate the online world.
I'm glad to hear that.
Fascinating stuff.
It really is.
Yeah.
So imagine this. You want to be known as the ultimate expert in your field.
Like when someone types in underwater basket weaving.
That's specific.
Your website is the first one that pops up.
That's the dream. To help us unpack this idea of topical authority, we're turning to Sean Anderson.
He's been a leading voice in the world of SEO for years.
A true veteran. He's got this blog called Hobo.
And back in 2018, he wrote this awesome SEO guide for beginners.
I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it's packed with insights.
So what's Anderson's take on building this topical authority?
Well, he's a firm believer. that it's not just about churning out random content.
It's got to be more strategic than that, right?
Exactly. He stresses the importance of developing what he calls machine-identifiable expertise.
Machine-identifiable expertise. That sounds intense.
It's about making it crystal clear to search engines what your area of expertise is.
So Google doesn't just think you're interested in a bunch of random things.
Right. Your content needs to scream, "This is what I'm an expert in."
Okay, so how do we make our content scream that?
Anderson actually uses this really clever example involving Tom Cruise,
Tom Cruise, the actor.
the one and only. It highlights how seemingly unrelated pieces of content, when strategically connected, can suddenly gain a lot more value in building that topical authority.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this Tom Cruise connection.
So imagine you have 30 blog posts on your site.
On a whole bunch of different things.
Exactly. Now let's say those 30 blog posts all happen to be about things Tom Cruise has spent his money on.
Like a collection of Tom Cruise's most questionable purchases.
Yeah. Individually, these posts might not seem that remarkable, but together they paint a comprehensive picture of, well, Tom Cruise's spending habits.
So instead of 30 random blog posts, you've got a curated collection about Tom Cruise's questionable spending.
Precisely. And that's what makes it valuable for users and attractive to search engines.
Because it shows a depth of knowledge on that specific subject.
Exactly. It's like becoming the curator of a museum exhibit, but for a very specific topic.
Okay, so it's like you're creating a museum exhibit dedicated entirely to Tom Cruise's spending habits.
Exactly. But instead of showcasing artifacts, you're showcasing your expertise through content.
I like it. But how does this translate to, say, something like underwater basket weaving?
That's the beauty of it. This approach works for any niche.
So it doesn't matter if my passion is underwater basket weaving
Or vintage typewriter repair.
Right, or something super specific like that.
The principles are the same.
So how do I actually go about making my website the ultimate resource for, say, underwater basket weaving?
Well, Anderson provides a really practical framework in his SEO guide.
Oh, does he lay out like a step-by-step process?
Yeah, he breaks it down really well. So he talks about categorizing your content based on topic, subtopic, and even specific concepts within those subtopics.
Okay, so instead of having one giant page about underwater basket weaving, I'd break it down into smaller categories.
Exactly. Let's say your main topic is underwater basket weaving. Your subtopics could be weaving techniques, materials, and maybe even the history of underwater basket weaving.
Okay, so far so good.
And then within each of those subtopics, you'd have even more specific concepts.
Like different types of underwater weaving techniques.
Exactly. And the different materials you'd use for each technique.
So under materials, I could have posts about different types of seaweed.
Precisely. And you could even break it down further, like which seaweed is best for coiled underwater baskets.
Wow, you're really making me think about the nitty-gritty details.
And that's the point. The more specific you get, the more you demonstrate your expertise to search engines.
So if someone is searching for best seaweed for coiled underwater baskets, my website will be more likely to pop up.
Exactly. Because you've clearly established yourself as an authority on that very specific aspect of underwater basket weaving.
This is blowing my mind.
It's about going beyond those generic terms and really showcasing your in-depth knowledge.
Okay, so I've got my topics, my subtopics, and my super specific concepts all mapped out. What's next?
Well, Anderson also emphasizes the importance of what he calls independent links from other topic-related authorities and entities.
Independent links. So we're talking about like backlinks?
Exactly. It's about getting other reputable websites in your niche to link back to your content.
So it's like getting endorsements from other underwater basket weaving experts.
Exactly. Think of it like this. When other experts in your field link to your website.
It's like they're giving you their stamp of approval.
Precisely. And search engines take notice of that.
So the more links I have from high-quality websites in my niche, the more credible my website becomes in the eyes of search engines.
Exactly. It's all about building that trust and authority.
So I should be networking with other underwater basket weaving enthusiasts.
Share your expertise. Participate in online forums. Maybe even collaborate on projects.
Basically, become a well-respected member of the underwater basket weaving community.
Exactly. And as you build those relationships and gain recognition within your niche,
that authority will start to translate online. So it's like building a reputation, but in the digital world.
Exactly. It's about establishing yourself as a go-to source for information in your field.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but I have to admit it's a little overwhelming. Where do I even begin?
Well, Anderson suggests starting by identifying your true passions and areas of expertise. What are those subjects you could talk about for hours?
Okay, so first, figure out what I'm truly passionate about. Got it? Then what?
It's time to start creating. Dive deep into various aspects of your chosen topic. Remember, you're aiming to build a comprehensive resource on your subject.
Like a digital library dedicated to my specific niche?
Exactly. Think about what kind of content would be most valuable to your audience. Would they benefit from in-depth blog posts, video tutorials, maybe even a podcast?
It's about getting creative and finding the formats that work best for me and my audience.
Precisely. And remember those subtopics we discussed earlier.
Right. Breaking down my expertise into smaller, more digestible chunks.
Exactly. This not only makes it easier for your audience to navigate your content,
But it also helps search engines understand the depth and breadth of your knowledge.
it's a win-win. And here's another tip. Don't be afraid to link your content together.
You mean like internal linking?
Exactly. So if you're creating a video tutorial on a specific underwater basket weaving technique,
I could link to a blog post where I delve deeper into the history of that technique.
precisely, you're essentially creating a web of interconnected ideas, all pointing back to your core areas of expertise.
It's like creating a choose-your-own-adventure for my audience, guiding them through different facets of my niche.
I love that analogy. And as you continue to create high-quality content, build those connections and gain recognition within your niche.
My topical authority will naturally grow over time.
It's an ongoing process, but the rewards are well worth the effort. So to all you deep divers out there, what are you passionate about? What unique knowledge can you share?
Don't be afraid to dive deep, explore those passions, and share your expertise with the world. Who knows, you might just become the next big name in underwater basket weaving.
Or vintage typewriter repair?
Aw.
The online world is your oyster. Until next time, deep divers, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.
And remember, the journey of becoming a topical authority is just as rewarding as reaching the destination. Okay, so real talk for a sec. SEO reports. They're not exactly the highlight of my day, you know? It's like spreadsheets and data, and it can make you want to just crawl under your desk sometimes.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But what if I told you there might be a better way, a tool that could take some of that pain away?
Okay, now you've got my attention.
That's what we're diving into today. Hobo SEO Dashboard. We've been digging through their training materials, blog posts, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems like it might just be the shortcut to SEO reporting bliss.
Well, let's find out. What is this Hobo SEO dashboard all about?
So from what I'm gathering, it's this tool designed to basically take a lot of the manual, tedious stuff we do as SEO folks and just automate it.
Okay, automation's always good. Who is the mastermind behind it?
That would be SEO expert Sean Anderson. You might know him as Hobo online.
Ah, okay, I think I've seen his stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all based in Google Sheets. Interesting.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, right? Because it hints at the tool's accessibility.
For sure. Google Sheets, everyone's got that.
Exactly. But then, on the other hand, it also has this potential to be really powerful because, well, Google Sheets can do a lot these days.
Right, right. It's not just your grandma's spreadsheet software anymore.
Okay, but we see a lot of SEO tools out there, right? What makes Hobo SEO Dashboard different? What can it actually do?
So one of the cool things is that it acts as this central hub. It connects to all these different sources of SEO data. Like you've got your Google Search Console, obviously.
Of course, gotta have that.
But then it also integrates with tools like Screaming Frog.
Screaming Frog.
Yeah, have you used that before?
I've heard of it. It's that website crawler, right? Like sends a digital spider through your site.
Exactly. It digs deep into your website and uncovers a ton of technical SEO data.
Okay, so when you say digs deep, what kind of things is Screaming Frog actually looking for, and why does that even matter for SEO?
Oh man, it's all about uncovering those hidden issues that can really hurt your rankings, like broken links, those dreaded 404 error pages that make people bounce right off your site.
Ugh, yeah, the bane of my existence.
Right, or like slow loading pages. Google hates those, and users hate them even more.
So Screaming Frog finds all that stuff, and then Hobo SEO Dashboard takes all that data and makes sense of it.
Exactly, and not just from Screaming Frog. It pulls in data from all these different sources. Search Console, your website crawls and turns it into actionable reports, full SEO audits, keyword analysis, backlink profiles. It does it all.
Okay, so instead of me having to manually pull all that data from different places and try to make sense of it, Hobo SEO Dashboard does it for me.
You got it. It's a huge time saver.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here.
But it goes beyond just gathering data, right?
Mm.
The real magic is that Hobo SEO Dashboard actually analyzes that information and presents it in a way that's easy to understand and, more importantly, act on.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Because data without action is, well, it's just a bunch of numbers on a screen.
Exactly. You need those insights to actually make a difference.
All right, let's talk about one of the biggest pain points for, I think, anyone who does SEO professionally, client reporting. How does Hobo SEO Dashboard handle that whole beast?
Oh, man. Client reporting, it's the necessary evil.
It's the worst, spending hours putting those reports together.
Yeah, so here's where Hobo SEO Dashboard gets really interesting. It has this built-in client management system. So imagine this. You set a schedule, right? Weekly, monthly, whatever works for you.
Okay.
And Hobo SEO Dashboard automatically generates customized reports for each of your clients. And get this, it's pulling in all the latest data from those integrated sources we talked about. So it's always up to date.
So no more like copying and pasting data from different spreadsheets, trying to make it look pretty?
Nope. Hobo SEO Dashboard takes care of all of that for you. It can even handle sending those reports directly to your clients via email, automatically. And you can customize it with your branding, your messaging, the whole 9 yards. It's like having a personal assistant just for your SEO reports.
Wow. Okay. That right there would be a game changer for a lot of people.
Right.
But we've talked a lot about automation so far, which, don't get me wrong, I am all about automating the boring stuff. But what about actual SEO insights? How does Hobo SEO Dashboard go beyond just spitting out data? What makes it, actually useful for improving your SEO?
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. One of the standout features is something called the Winners and Losers report.
Winners and losers. Okay, tell me more.
It's basically a real-time view of how your keywords are performing. So you can see, at a glance, which keywords are climbing the ranks in Google.
Ah, the winners.
Exactly. And just as importantly, you can see which ones are, well, not doing so hot.
The losers. Okay, so it's like a scoreboard for your SEO, but I'm guessing it's about more than just bragging rights.
Oh, absolutely. This is about strategy, because seeing which keywords are winning tells you what you're doing right, what content Google loves, what search terms are driving traffic to your site that's invaluable information.
Makes sense. So you can double down on what's working.
Exactly. And then, on the flip side, understanding why certain keywords are dropping can help you identify content gaps, maybe some technical issues that need fixing, or even just shifts in how people are searching for things related to your site.
So it's not just about tracking the data, it's about understanding the why behind it,
Yes.
and then using those insights to inform your overall SEO strategy.
Exactly. It's like having a roadmap, but it's constantly updating based on what's actually happening in the real world.
I like it. It's like having a virtual SEO coach whispering in your ear, telling you what's working and what needs attention. I'm sold on the winners and losers thing. But let's go back to the automation side for a second. We talked about Screaming Frog earlier, but how does that integration actually work in practice?
It's surprisingly smooth. You can set Screaming Frog to crawl your clients' websites on a schedule that works for you weekly, monthly, whatever makes sense. And it automatically feeds that data straight into Hobo SEO Dashboard.
So no more exporting spreadsheets and trying to make sense of the data jungle.
Exactly. Hobo SEO Dashboard takes all that raw technical data from Screaming Frog and weaves it into the other reports, giving you a holistic view of your website's SEO health.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be honest, even with automation, SEO audits can feel overwhelming. You unearth all these potential issues. Where do you even begin?
I've been there. That's why I'm excited about this feature. Hobo Premium SEO Checklist. It's like a super-powered to-do list that helps you prioritize what needs fixing first.
Okay, now you're talking my language. Tell me more about this magical checklist.
Remember how Hobo SEO Dashboard pulls data from Google Search Console and Screaming Frog? It takes all that information and cross-references it with Google's Webmaster Guidelines.
Ah, those guidelines. They're basically Google's rule book for SEO, what they deem best practices for creating websites that rank well.
Exactly. So instead of just showing you a laundry list of issues, the Hobo Premium SEO Checklist ranks them by priority, highlighting the ones that have the biggest impact on your ranking, according to Google's own standards.
That's incredibly helpful. I imagine it helps you focus on the low-hanging fruit, those fixes that can make a big difference without needing a complete website overhaul.
Absolutely. And if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, Hobo SEO Dashboard lets you slice and dice that data in all sorts of ways. Want to see all your 404 errors in one place? No problem. Need to identify pages with missing H1 tags? You can do that too.
So you have that granular control, which is great for experienced SEO folks who know exactly what they're looking for. But for someone just starting out, the prioritized checklist is a lifesaver.
Precisely. And remember the winners and losers report. That granular tracking isn't just for keywords. You can see how individual pages are performing in search results.
So you can see which pages are climbing the ranks, which ones might be slipping, and get a feel for why those changes might be happening. That's powerful stuff.
It helps connect the dots between your SEO efforts and the actual results. And speaking of connecting dots, Hobo SEO Dashboard has a keyword bank feature that's worth a closer look.
Keyword bank. Tell me more.
It pulls all the keywords your site is ranking for in Google Search Console and stores them in a centralized, easy-to-access location. No more constantly digging through Search Console.
That's amazing. Having all your keywords in one place would make it so much easier to track their performance over time, spot new opportunities, and even see how algorithm updates might be impacting your rankings. Speaking of which, can Hobo SEO Dashboard actually keep up with those dreaded Google algorithm updates?
That's the beauty of it. It's designed to do just that. Hobo SEO Dashboard keeps track of those algorithm updates, flags any potential impact on your clients' websites, and even offers guidance on adjustments you might need to make.
It's like having a crystal ball for SEO. Instead of riding the roller coaster of algorithm updates blindfolded, you have some insights into what's happening and how to navigate those changes.
Exactly. Now, there's one more thing I want to touch on before we move on, and it's a big one: the pricing.
Okay, let's talk cost. Tools with this much functionality usually come with a hefty price tag. What's the catch?
Here's the shocker. There's no monthly fee. Hobo SEO Dashboard is available for a one-time purchase. You heard that right. No subscription, no recurring costs, just one payment, and you have access to this powerful tool.
Wow, that's almost unheard of in the world of SEO software. It's a bold move.
It really is. And while we don't want to delve into the developers' motivations, it certainly seems like there's a genuine desire to make these tools accessible to everyone, not just big agencies with deep pockets.
I can get behind that. Democratizing access to SEO is something I can definitely get behind. But before we get too carried away singing its praises, it's important to remember that Hobo SEO Dashboard is still a tool. It can provide incredible insights and automate a lot of tasks, but it's not a magic bullet.
Absolutely. In the right hands, it can be transformative, but it doesn't replace the need for human expertise, critical thinking, and a solid SEO strategy.
It's true. You can have the best tools in the world, but if you don't know what you're doing...
You're just going to dig yourself into a deeper hole, right?
Exactly. But you hinted at something earlier about Google's ecosystem, something about potential pitfalls. What were your thoughts there?
Well, it's been really cool to see how tightly this tool integrates with, Google Search Console, even Google Sheets itself. It's clearly a huge part of what makes it so powerful, so accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and this isn't meant to be a downer or anything, but it does make you wonder.
What if Google decides to switch things up?
Exactly. And we all know how much Google loves a good algorithm update, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they roll out some big changes to Search Console. Who knows?
It's true. They like to keep us on our toes.
So it's not about casting doubt on Hobo SEO Dashboard or anything like that. It's more just acknowledging a reality we all face in the tech world. When you rely heavily on one platform, well, your fate is kind of tied to their decisions.
It's like building your dream house on like a shifting sandbar, gorgeous views, but you're at the mercy of the tides. So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What should they do with all this info?
Don't let this one thing overshadow all the incredible potential we've talked about. I say, go explore Hobo SEO Dashboard. See how it fits into your workflow, test it out on a project. Just go in with open eyes, Aware of the opportunities, definitely, but also aware of, the realities of the tech world, how things can change.
Informed decision-making. I love that. It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of a shiny new tool, but sometimes you got to take a step back, look at the big picture.
100%.
This has been an amazing deep dive. We went from SEO reports make me want to hibernate for a year to, wait, maybe there's a better way.
I'm glad we could shed some light on things. It's always exciting to see tools that are pushing the boundaries and, trying to make those advancements accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners out there, if this conversation sparked even a little bit of curiosity, I highly recommend checking out Hobo SEO Dashboard. You might just discover your new secret SEO weapon.
Or at the very least, you'll free up some time in your week.
There you go. That's a win in my book. All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of automated SEO reporting. Until next time.
Happy optimizing.